Salut coders, this is Bisky here. Welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial, I want to show you step by step how you can integrate your Quarkus project with the HashiCorp Vault. If you are looking for best practice for managing secrets in Quarkus application, this is the right tutorial for you. You want to secure your database credentials, your API keys, or any sensitive information that you think of in your application. And application security is mostly important, required, so that you can avoid hackers to get into your application easily. Let's get started. So in this tutorial, I want to show you step by step how to integrate with HashiCorp, and we are going to run it. We are going to run a Docker and then connect to it and create a test credentials and add it to our Quarkus project. So if you go to the Quarkus extension, you can see we have this vault. So from this vault, this is how you can add the extension. So on my previous tutorial where we were talking about microservices architecture, I created some microservices and I want to add this extension to my application. Maybe if I have Maven installed, let me add this with Maven. So we have added this dependence, which is Quarkus Vault, into our POM XML. So if you go to POM XML, if you search for Vault, you see the dependency. This is the dependency, and it's being downloaded here, as you can see. Okay, we are okay now. So what we need to do now is to run the Docker of the Vault so that we can integrate it to our project. So we can click this documentation. So from this documentation, we need to follow this, and you are supposed to have a JDK installed, and it's roughly 20 minutes, but I'll show you how you can do it in less than 20 minutes in this tutorial. So what you need to do, we need to run this. So make sure you have Docker installed, and here you can copy this, and I'll open my terminal. So from my terminal, I will just paste this command. So let's try to run the Docker PS status to see if it's running. You can see our Vault is now running here. So what you can do, let's follow our steps here. So once you have this running, if you want to see logs, you just copy this command and you can see the logs. And from these logs, you can see we have these keys, and we need to export this, and we have these keys. So let me just copy these keys and put them somewhere. So once you copy the key, you can see we have these keys. We want to use these keys, and our application is running on this. Our Vault is running on port 8200 since we told it to run on this port, and we are mapping to this port here. So the next thing, I think, let's open the shell command and try to export our keys. So I will just copy this and go to the terminal, and I'll paste this one. Now we have our shell. So what we need to do, we need to export we need to export this. We need to export our key. So what you need to do, we need to copy this. So you copy and come to the terminal, you paste this, and we need our key. So let's copy this key. And we can do this from our terminal. Then we can run Vault status and after running the vault status, you will see the client IDs. Let's do this and paste this, and we have access to this, and the seal type is Shami. So we need to add the credentials now. So this is how we can add credentials to our application. So this one, you can just do this, copy this command. We are now creating our credentials that we are going to use in our Quarkus project. So you can do this. Here we just say, so from here, a private, I can just say db username equals to 1 2 3 4 5 6, and if you want to say db password equals to 1 2 3 4 5 6 again, or I can change the username maybe to BISC. And then after doing this, a new record has been added. So our credentials will be in this path: secret apps, vault, Quarkus start config, and you just say db username, and it will bind to the BISC password. It will bind to this one. So what we can do now, we can add this policy to be able to create or read this one. So let's give access to this path where we are storing our credentials. So let's copy. Yeah, so the policy has been added, so we can continue again. So let's enable username and password login to our vault. So we can come here. We are adding security to our vault, so no one can just enter into our vault without credentials. Yeah, we enable the auth, and let's create a user. I'll just copy these things as they are, so you can follow this documentation also for reference sake. So the user is going to be Bob, and the password will be Sinclair. So you can see it's okay. We have updated the users, this new user. So let's try to log in with the user to see if everything is working fine. Let me just clear this here, so we can have a space here. You can see we have managed to log in with the user that we created. So we want to be able to see the credentials of this user. So after logging in, we got a vault token. Let's see what we have. Yeah, we have this token. So we need to export this token also. So that we'll be able to, so that we are going to have access to the credentials. So we just copy this. And let's copy our access token. So after doing this, let's see what we have in our store, the credentials that we created. You can see these are the credentials that we created: db password and db username. So we need now to bind these credentials into our application in like application properties. We don't store this one in the application properties, but they'll be coming from the HashiCorp Vault. So let's go to our application. So in our application, I just want to add it in the controller just for testing purpose. Here I want to add this here. So what I can do, we did this before. We added this extension Vault, and I showed you how to do it with Maven. Or you can just take this dependency and add it to your property and add it to your POM file. So what we can do, I need to copy this. Let's see if I'm using, yeah, I'm using this properties. So I thought I was using the YAML. So we need to copy. So we are telling our application to say, this is our Spring Vault. It's running on port 8200, and I showed you. And this is the authentication that we enabled with the username Bob and password Sinclair. And then here, this is the path where we are storing our credentials. My apps Vault quick start config. As you can see here, my apps. Let me scroll up here. You can see my apps Vault start config. So that's where we are storing. And the name of our keys here, you can see here, it's a private key, but I changed this one to DB username and DB password. So that's what you are going to do. So what you need to do now, we can copy these properties, come and take this one, and let's go to our API just for a testing example. So I can do this, I can import this, and here the name of our key, if you go to this, it's DB password and DB username. So you just need to copy the name of your key here. And DB username. And from the API, just for testing purpose, I'll create a test endpoint. Just say credentials. We want to test if we are going to get these credentials. So our application is running smoothly here. So before I test this, let's try to go to the application properties and just change the user, the password, and see if it's going to run. It's going to run, but when you're trying to get the credentials, it will fail. So what you need to do is running on port 3030. So I can come here and I'll do this localhost port 3030, and the service is payment. And let's look for the path payment, and in our subscription, and it's going to be subscription credential reset. Okay. And remember, it's a get method. And we can do this, and we are going to have an error because we have entered an incorrect password. So let's see in our application. So in our application, you can see here, we are going to have a vault auth because our username and password, it's incorrect. So let's fix this and test. So we can go to application properties and we can remove this one and we can test. So after doing this, let's just refresh here. You can see the username is Bisq and the password is 123456, and our application was able to fetch this data from HashiCorp Vault. This is the best way where you can secure your application credentials, access keys, everything that is sensitive information in your application. You can put it in HashiCorp. So if you are new to this channel, may you kindly subscribe, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we upload new video. So salut coders.